So I believe, I don't know if any of you have been able to go through the assignment that I gave. Hello?
Yes, sir. I went through it about an hour ago, but I didn't get it. I kind of forgot most of the steps.
What will happen by the time you watch
The videos, yeah.
um yes, so you will get the, you come around. So I don't know if that is clear. Laura, what about you?
Hello, good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening.
I did not follow the steps at all. I did not even understand the whole thing.
You will have to go because I can't be going forth about. Then I will provide the link. Then you go through
Okay,
it.
okay, okay, sir. Thank you.
All right. So today we are going to continue from where we stopped. So, so I'm going to open the software once again. It's still open. Please kindly mute your mic, please. So I'm going to share my screen now. So so this was where we stopped um, yesterday when I taught you guys how to transform. Then I equally showed you how to select your cases. So now we are going to move straight to the analysis proper. We are going to move straight to the analysis proper. Now, I mentioned that there are several kind of analysis that you can actually do on the SPSS. Then we have what we refer to as parametric and non-parametric test. So you can see all these ones are parametric tests, while this is non-parametric test. So this is actually where you get non-parametric equivalents of all the parametric tests that you can see here. And I mentioned that for you to run uh, parametric analysis on any data, that um, you have to be sure the kind of data that you are working with. Although this data that we're going to be using, this aspect does not apply. We are going to look at the data that this aspect could apply. So that is when we talk about normality and non-normality. That was what brought about that aspect of normality and non-normality. So now let me open up another data set that we can use to actually look at um, yeah. So this is an example of a data set that we may want to check. Remember, for you to check normality on any data, that data has to be numeric data. For example, you can't check normality on this kind of data because it's not numeric. So you can only check normality on numeric data. So now, assuming I want to check the normality of FSH to know whether I can use parametric test on this analysis. Then what I will do, remember that we have two types of cases here. We have uh, cases and control. So I want to check for only control. Now, if I want to check for only control or cases rather, if I come here and say select data, now you see that it's not going to be possible. But if I say if conditions satisfy, then let's say I move this one there, say if condition equals to, equals to, let's say cases, equals to cases. See, it will not tell you, to tell you incorrect variable because this is only number that it can actually accept. So what we are going to do before we come here is to go and transform this aspect of data. So we go to transform, go to recode, we go to again, we go to transform, we go to recode into different variable. Then you move the case definition here. Just call it case B, and you can just leave that out. Now we come here, we have case. Wherever you see cases, call it 1. Wherever you see control, call it 2. Equal to this. Sorry, call it 2. Continue. Okay. So automatically it's going to generate it for us at the end of here. Then what we'll do now is to go and define the variable. So remember that is CD. Then we come here. Remember that we said 1 is case, then 2 is control. We'll add it. We click OK. And go back here. Then we can now go back to this data selection and click on select, and if condition. Then what we'll move here, instead of moving this, then we'll come here and move this. So we'll move this here, and we'll now say equals to 1. So it's only one cases now. We want to check the normality of the cases. So now we select only the cases. So we just manually check to be sure that it's only the cases that was selected. Then go to analysis. We want to do normality, go to analysis, you go to descriptive statistics, then you go to explore. So now we want to check FSH, check for FSH. Then we are interested in the descriptive, then we're also interested in the outliers. And the plots, we're interested in normality with plots, then we remove this factor, remove this leaf, then click on OK. Option, not changing anything. Make sure that it's both that is clicked here. Then click on continue. So, uh, yeah. So we have our data set here. So here you can see these are the different. Now you can even merely looking at. Now you can see the KS test here, statistically significant. So merely even looking at this, you know that it's not. You cannot uh, take it. Then there was something else that I was supposed to select that I didn't select, which was the histogram. Then go back to the explore. Then here you go to start. Then you go to plot. We also want histogram. So to just regenerate that for us. So now you can see this is the case summary, this is the mean, this is the variance, this is the standard deviation, then these are the maximum, minimum, and all other things. Then we'll come here, that the extreme values, we see the different extreme values that we have. Then we go to the test. You can see that both KS and SW test are statistically significant. Then for us to better understand again, then we come here and check the histogram. So merely looking at this histogram, you can see that it's not actually normally distributed. So for us to further understand that, I want this plot. Okay. So you can see that this is not how a normal distributed from what's it called? That slide I gave to you guys. Consider this is not a normal distributed data. Then if you also check even the derived normal data test, you can see that it's not normal. Then also checking the bus plot, you can see that the bus plot too is not also okay. So it shows that this data is not normally distributed. So in this case, since the data is not normally distributed, we cannot actually use, we can't use non-parametric test, we can't use parametric test on it. So, but for the purpose of this training, we'll just do normal ANOVA test with the data. Then we'll assume that, okay, this is normal. But you've seen how to check for if the data is normal or not. So that's basically what you're supposed to do at every point when you have any numeric data before you work on them. So that is that at this point. Then the next thing that we want to look at now is to actually start off with the basic things that you're supposed to do after you've checked your normality. Then the next thing you have to do is to do what we refer to as descriptive frequency and the rest. Now, when we are talking about frequency, frequency is basically used when you are talking about data that are not numeric, when you are talking about string or uh, qualitative kind of data. For example, now, when you have a data like this, a data of this, majority of what you are going to be talking about are going to be descriptive, are going to be rather frequency, percentages, checking the kind of relationship that exists between them. So in this case now you want to check the count for each of all these things. When I mean count, you want to check, okay, how many are MDR-TB, how many are not, how many have previous treatment, how many had missed their doses, how many had a cavity in their lungs, and how many of them have high gene expert output and low G expert output, as the case may be. Then you may want to group them based on um, MDR or no MDR. But let's just first and foremost check the frequency of each of these. So to check frequency, you go to descriptive statistics, and you go to frequency. So now, you mean we want to change this, or we want to check this, want to check for all the accounts. Then I'm not interested in this frequency table. So we want to check for all of these are not applicable. Yeah. So plots, yes, we want a bar plot. Then format is not really necessary. Then okay, let's just say we want the output like that. So and you can see we only just gave out the plot because we did not click table. So if we have click table, this is what we are going to have. Now, if we click table, this is what we are going to have. You can see now. If you give us each of them, their percentages, the valid percentages, those are have contact with previous drug resistant TB. 129 said no. 7 said yes. Then for those that were previously treated, 98 said no, 38 said yes. Those that missed their doses, 98 said yes, no rather than 38 said yes. Then those that cavity in their lungs, 119 said no, Y7 said yes. Then those that gene expert output, out of all of them, we have 66 high gene expert results, 36 medium, while 34 are low. So those are some. Then these are just the bar plot for each of those outputs that we plotted just now. So that's basically what you will always do first for any qualitative kind of data. But in the case of quantitative data, in place of this, you will do descriptive. You still do frequency, but in this case, we'll be looking at, okay, assuming now for this second data set, I want to check um, the descriptives for this data. So all I have to do is to go to analyze here, and I'll click on descriptives. Then I move FSH there. Then I want to check for the options. Okay, I'm interested in the mean, standard deviation, maximum, and minimum. I'm also interested in the variance, then standard deviation of mean. So click OK. Then I click this, the output will come up. So this is the output of that. So if it was all those data that I have there that I wanted to run their descriptive, so all I needed to do was just to go to that descriptive, then move all the ones that I want to run descriptive on, move them there, and click OK already. So you have your output, you have your mean. So this is actually just to describe the data. Then it's after you describe the data, then that you can now move ahead and start doing all of that kind of tests like your t-test, your ANOVA, your chi-square, your regression, correlation, and all the others. So this is how you go about. So if someone asks you for what is the first thing after you have enter your data into SPSS or any software, before you start even testing your hypothesis, the first thing you do is to run descriptives. Now, and descriptives for qualitative data are usually, you look at the percentages, you look at the plots, you look at numbers, the counts. Then for quantitative data, then you will be looking at mean, media, standard deviation, variance, minimum, maximum value. Then they also want to do an histogram kind of plot. So those are basic description that every data that you have will carry. So it's actually from here that you form your all the table that you see online on your articles. For example, you see someone will say the mean for, okay, like this one I just showing you the mean for everything. Now it's actually when you now want to say, okay, what is the mean of the female that of male? Then if I want to, let's say for this particular data now, this one, I want my data set to, sorry, this particular one, I want the output to be categorized based on MROTB and non-MROTB. So what I would have done from the very onset is to come to this data and tell my data to help me split my file. Now, split my file in the sense that I will tell the data to help me organize my output or compare. So let's say I wanted to compare my output based on the definition of subject. So all the output that are going to come out are going to be MDR and non MDR. So continue here now. Then let's go back to analyze. Then I go to descriptive frequency. Then I'll move this out because we are no longer, that is no longer interested. Then let's say the plots. We are not interested in any. No. So continue. Now click on OK. So you're going to see that it's going to organize your data. It will compare the data. Compare in the sense that, for example, when I tell you the number of MDR and the number of non-MDR, and to tell you under the MDR, how many of them had contact with DROTB and how many do not. You can see the non-MDR, none of them had. Then the next one is to also go to those that were previously treated. You can see that out of this 68, 55 of MDR TB had previous treatment. Then why 33 do not? Then why for among the non-MDR, only 3 had previous treatment, why 65 do not have previous treatment. Then you also check out of all those that missed their drug, out of the 68, those that have multi-drug resistance, 38 said that it has missed their drug at one point or the other. While those of non-MDR, none of them has missed their drug. So the next one is cavity. Out of all of them that had cavity cases, 14 out of the 68 of those that were MDRO had cavity, while only 3 had cavity for the non-MDR. Then in terms of gene expert results, for those that are MDR, we can see that out of them, almost the same numbers here. So that is not really factor. So that's actually what you do when you are comparing results. Now, for the continuous data, assuming I also want to categorize my output, my result based on cases and control. So all I will also come to do here is to also come and split my data and tell it to organize, compare group using the case here. So I'll just click on OK, and to do that for me. Then if I go back now and rerun this descriptive that we did earlier, we are going to see what we are going to have now. You can see that the result will come up in this kind of table. So this is how what you will have. Then you will now start preparing your tables on how to organize your table into different. Okay, let me just show. Let me look for. Sorry. Let me stop sharing. I want to look for a sensitive document. Um, I'm coming. Please, I'm with you. I'm coming. So yes, I will come to your question, please. Now, what I was saying, once you have your data like this, you will have to organize. Sorry, I don't take it. Sorry. So once you have your data uh, like this, you have to organize them into tables, just the way you usually see them in articles. So I've opened a fresh Word document now. Now, assuming I want to check this case control, usually you have to come and get a table. So just something like this. So I'm just assuming now you want to run a t-test. So this will be your parameters. So this will be your case. This is, and this will be your control. Now remember that our number of cases here, n is equals to 81. Then n2 equal to 81. Then here we have, let's say here we have t-student test. If we are using t-tests, then this will be your value. This will be your p-value. So now I'll just use this first one as an example. This FSH. So mean, usually some school of thought will say use mean and standard deviation. Some will say use mean and standard error of mean. So depending on the person you are doing your analysis for, if it's for yourself, that actually determine what whether is it mean and standard error of mean or standard deviation, as the case may be. So here we are going to use standard error of mean. And whatever you are using, you have to state it that you are using mean symbol plus or minus standard error of mean. So meaning here, our mean here for the cases is what? Is 12.03, and plus minus the standard error of mean here is 1.63. That's from here now. So for the control to come down, so that's 5.93 plus uh, 0.25. So basically, that's what how you arrange your table for any kind of test. So if it's t-test you are doing, then we'll now go there by tomorrow when we will start looking at how to test for hypothesis. So I'm going to stop sharing now. Then the question is asked. Everything is under analysis. You go to analysis, you go to descriptive statistics, then you go to descriptives. So you just click on it, then it will take you there. So that's just basically um, what you do there. So I'm going to stop sharing now, and I'll take your questions. Hello?
Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you. Hello? Someone was speaking. I can hear you. Hello? Laura, peace. Did you get the question?
Yes, I got it. But on my own, for my side, my network was not really good along the line. So many things I didn't get. So I didn't
Okay.
understand where you even click to bring up bar charts and box plus. I didn't know where you clicked. So I
Click
was
to do
trying to
what?
follow. It was hanging
Where I did what?
to get the box. You click to generate the bar chart box plot. I'm looking forward to.
Okay, that should be under when I was talking about normality.
Yes.
Basically, okay, let me just share my slide and quickly show you that. So you go to, now I want to check normality for this age. All I have to do is to go to descriptive, click on analyze, go to descriptive, then you go to explore, click on explore. Then what you want to is the age I want to check normality for. Then you move the age into the box. Then you click on statistic, descriptive is there. Then you also click on outlier, but it's not necessary. You can leave that out. Then you go to plots. Now make sure that this is not selected. The leaf, stem and leaf is not selected. Histogram is selected. Then under this place, this is what you choose. Normality plot with test. Then this one is none. So I've several things now that I have done. I will take that again. You go to analyze, you go to descriptive statistics, you go to descriptives, then you go to analyze, go to descriptive, then you go to explore, then you move it will come up like this, then you move it into this dependent list. Then you click on factor, then you make sure that descriptive is selected, you click continue. You go to plot, you deselect the stem and leaf, then you click on histogram. Then under this place, under this box plot, you click on none. Okay, you can still leave that, then you click on normality with test, then you click on continue, then you make sure that both is selected here, then you click on OK. So it will come up with your result. So that's basically what you see the result. This is the result. Then you can see this is the box plot. Now the reason why we are seeing it like because you see that two results is coming now because we have told our software that every result should come out as should be splitted according to case and control study. So if you look at all of them, you have the result for cases, you have the result for the control. So you can see here we have the SW test and the KS test and the SW test for the cases, then for the control in that manner. Then you also check the histogram plot and see them for the cases and the control too. So that's basically what I did. So any other question? And she's not even here. So any other question before we call it a day?
No,
I'm
sir.
sorry, just a suggestion. Half of, let me
All
even say,
right.
have like
So
3/4
I'm still
of.
expecting. I'm going to get the link for that of yesterday and see if I can also get today on. At least make sure you try your hand on what I try a hand on all those things that I have taught yesterday and today, because hopefully with what we have at hand today, most likely we should finish up this class before Friday. So every other discussion will now be on the WhatsApp group.
Okay, sir.
But the only thing that
Sir,
you will get access to the record will always be there for you until I migrate it to the other platform that I told you guys I'm planning to migrate the training to. So, but before then, all the training will still be available at the YouTube, so you can always access it to learn if there's any. Then the slide too will be available for you at any point in time. Yeah, Ali, I think you wanted to say something.
Yes, sir. Sir, I was hoping if we could get tomorrow off. Because basically
Oh,
my network has been
okay,
fumbling all through the class.
okay,
So it was just the last thing you described, that descriptive statistics, that I was able to get
okay,
appropriately. So I think maybe tomorrow we should have time to look at the videos again, the recordings again, so that we'll have
okay,
better understanding.
okay. But what about others? Are you agreeing to what?
Uh,
Because basically speaking, what we have to cover is not really it's not much. It's just the analysis that we have to cover. Just about three or maximum three classes we should finish up. Nah, sorry, who is that? That should be from. Alright. So basically, um, within three classes, we should finish the training in all. In all. So
Yes, I
uh,
agree.
okay,
I had
so
network issues
I
as
think
well. So
okay, so
yes, I had network issues too. So I don't know how to even. I'm not confident I can. We actually describe well my data. So I'm just staring at what I put together, and I really don't know how to touch or how to do anything honestly. So so I don't know. I think we'll have to go over it again, just so at least know where to click and what why we're clicking what.
that all classes are very, very essential. You can't take one and leave the other. So I will advise that even after the class, all I think we have had about six or seven classes now. So you have to take them one after the other. They are actually in sequence. If you don't understand the first class, you will have issue with the second class. So that's why it's necessary you follow up with the videos. So since all of you agree that we should take tomorrow off again, good and fine. I think all other records are available except yesterday record and today's record. So I'll make those available. Then take your time to review all the other record that all the steps from the very beginning, from the introduction, because every step is actually necessary for you to move to the next step. So if you miss a step in the previous class, you will have issue comprehending the next one. So that is actually how uh, the system is designed. So just like our lead is suggested, so let's take tomorrow off. Take time to review all the classes, but maximally we should finish this class by Saturday, so that you go and keep practicing. Then I'll also make some YouTube video link available for you, so that you go even after now you go and keep learning. Then the WhatsApp group is there. If you have any question, you can always bring it there. Then I may not just respond to it immediate, but when normally during in the evenings like this, then I will have time to review them, then answer all the questions that you may have there. But the YouTube videos will always be available, because that will show you don't have to rush it. You will see where I click every time, and I usually tell you why I click what I click if you have been following the classes. So I think that is very, very important. So any other question?
so I didn't get the recording of 29th of December. That's last week. You didn't send it on
Mm,
the WhatsApp group.
No, I think that class, I don't think we were around. I think that class, I have to stop the class because they were having issue comprehending. For those that were around, we understand. They were having issue comprehending. So I have to suspend the class and move it. That was when I now gave you guys 2 days to look through previous records. I think others will understand.
Okay, sir.
But yes. All right. So I think we may have to stop the class now. Then we'll resume back on Thursday. All right. So good night, everybody.
Nice, sir.